Gajananam Bhota Ganati Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palasar Paktitam Umasutam Soka Vinasha Karanam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Sankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamta Chanuramadhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum Sarva Mangala Mangalye Sive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namosute Om Shri Matre Namaha Om Shri Annadhaja Namaha Om Shri Vasudhaja Namaha Om Shri Sachamara Ramavani Sabhyadakshana Sevitaja Namaha Om Shri Kataksha Kinkari Bhuta Kamala Koti Sevitaja Namaha Om Shri Shivasakthyai Karupinye Namaha Om Shri Lalita Ambikaya Namaha Om Shri Santananta Avaduta Sadgurave Namaha Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti 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 Om Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva. Namaskarams to everybody. Welcome to session number 13 in the series of Lalitha Sahasranamam under the Vande Vidya Shankaram program of SPBF North. Let me start today's program with the greeting, Happy Father's Day. Now, today happens to be Father's Day. It is a Western custom to honor fatherhood and paternal bonds on this day. But in our Dharma, we always honored our parents, all times, our gurus and our guests too. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava, says our Taittiriya Upanishad, which originated in the Vedic era. Be one for whom the mother is God. Be one for whom the father is God. Be one for whom the teacher is God. Be one for whom even the guest is God. The word Atiti, Titi means day, Atiti means no day. So guest is welcome any day. That's why you got the name Atiti. So even Atiti, we respect as a God. So that is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma. And it is a reminder to all of us today on this day to remember not only our father, but also our mother and teachers and also the guests. So that's the note on Sanatana Dharma. In the last session, let's take a quick review. We covered up to verse 126 and totally 630 namas, ending with Gandharva Sevita. We saw some very nice highlights of Mantra Matrika Pushpamala Stavaha, a very beautiful composition by Sri Adi Shankara. And I had explained a special feature of this composition. It is a unique combination of Shodasa Upacharam, 16 services, and Shodasi Mantra. The Panchadasi Mantra is a key mantra in Shakti Sri Vidya Upasana. It has 15 alphabets, as is said in 3 kutas or groups. The Mantra Matraka Pushpamala covers the Panchadasi Mantra in a very interesting way. The first alphabet of the first 15 verses, this Pushpamala from the 15 Bijakaras of Panchadasi Mantra. It has got first alphabet drawn from the Panchadasi Mantra. Each of the first 15 verses begin with one letter of Panchadasi Mantra contained in the 3 kutas. So we had seen the first and the 15th verse of the Pushpamala in our last session 12. Now today we'll start with the Dhyana Slokam as usual and move on to verse 127 and Nama 637. So let's move on to the Dhyana Slogan. Sindhurana Vikraham Trinayanam Vadikamauli Spurat Tara Nayaka Sekaram Chitamukim Apina Vakshoruham Panibhyam Alipunatsakam Raktotpalam Pipratim Saumyam Ratna Gadastarakta Charanam Jayet Paramambika Arunam Karuna Tarakitakshin Dritapasa Gochaputpabana Chapam Animadviravitam Mayukai Ragamitteva Vipavaye Bhavanim Yayet Padmasanastam Viksatavatanam Padmapatrayadakshim He Babam Pitavastram Karakali Talatheva Padmambaragim Sarva Alankariptam Tatam Abhayatam Bhaktanambram Bhavalim Sri Vidyam Shantamurtim Sakala Surunatam Sarva Sampat Pradatrim Sa Kunkuma Vilepana Balikuchumbi Kastubikam Samantha Zidechanam Sasarchap Pasangusham Asesha Jana Moganim Arunamal Nebukhambaram Japa Kusuma Basuram Japopitos Parambika. Beautiful Dhyana slogan. You can visualize Ambal by the picture you see. So let's move on to the slogan 127. As I said, I'll recite the slogan first and then explain the meanings. Vishwagarbha Swarnagarbha Parada Vagadishwari Jnana Gamya Parichetya Jnanada Jnana Vikraha. First word in this Vishwagarbha. Vishwa, you know, it's like Vishwanathan. Vishwa refers to the universe. And Garbha is the womb. Vishwagarbha means one whose womb contains the universe. As you all know, Ambal is the mother of everyone. We start Lalita Sahasranamam with the word Om Sri Mata, right? So another thing we should all know is in our temples, there is a Garbhagraha. It is a sanctum sanctorum, or the innermost part of a temple where the idol of the main deity is installed. It is so-called the nucleus of the temple. It has just only one opening. You must have seen there is no window, there is no side door. There is only one opening in the front. It is unique in our temple architecture. It is the place from where the divine energy radiates towards the devotees who all stand to seek darshan of the deity. So that is Garbhagraha. The Vishwagarbha is mother is holding the entire universe in her Garbha. The next word is Swarnagarbha. Now, Swarnagarbha means what? Swarna means gold. Golden womb. So, Bhaskaraya quotes the Vayu Purana. He says, Vayu Purana says, Ambal's womb is golden and born from gold, and hence she is called Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyam also means gold. As you all know, Ambal arose from the Chitakni Gunda. The very first is the Chitakni Gunda on a golden plate. So, our solar system itself is called Brahmandam. Brahma means great, Anda means egg. In Hindi and Marathi, say Anda, egg. So, creation emerged from what is called Hiranyagarbha, which is oval in shape like a golden egg. So, Vedanta Paribhasha says Hiranyagarbha is the first soul to be born, and it is different from Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. It is the very first soul. All beings evolved from Hiranyagarbha. So Ambal is the origin of the universe, and hence she is called Swarna or Hiranyagarbha. Swarnagarbha also refers to the mother of Vedas and Bijaksharas. Some of you might have seen in Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh, there is a Kanaka Durga Devi temple. I had the opportunity to visit it a couple of years back. It is located on a hill called Indrakeladri. It's close on the banks of Krishnaveri River. Kanaka means gold. And the hill Indrakiladri itself is known as Swarnagarbha Parvata. And Devi residing there is called Kanaka Durga. Vijayawada is also known as Kanakapuri. His Holiness Sri Sri Vidya Shankara, the 10th Acharya of Sringeri Sharada Peetham, visited the Kanaka Durga temple and he praised Amba with a beautiful stotram, which is called Kanaka Durga Ananda Lagari. It is in praise of Kanaka Durga. So Amba herself is gold and her womb is also gold, and drawn from gold, she is called Hiranyagarbha. So that is the meaning of Swarnagarbha. The next line is Avarada. Varada, you know, Varam. Varada is one who gives boons. Asangusinja Varadavai Hastadari, Pitambarim Kanakamautika Bhushitangim, Bhuvaneshwari Matram says that Varada Abhay Hastadarim. One hand she gives Varam. In the other hand, she has got Abhayam. When you put Varada, just the opposite. It means not giving boons, but punishing. It means punisher. Amba is actually a punisher of Asuras. In fact, Amba came up from the Chitakunda to punish or destroy the Asuras. Today I was at the Devi Mahatmyam function, they were doing Chandi Homam. And Devi Mahatmyam, Amba, it is showing the story of Ambal, how she came up and then how she destroyed the demons, Bandasura and other Asuras. So Avarada is punisher. So you should have what is called offer the carrot, at the same time also use the stick where necessary. And Avarada is just that. The next word is Vagadishwari. Vak is speech. Ishwari is ruler. So Ambal is a ruler of speech. Some people have the name as Vagishwari also. The 100th verse of Saundarya Lagari, last one, concludes, Tudiya bir Vagbihi Savajanani Vacham Tutiriyam. Tudiya bir Vagbihi Savajanani Vacham Tutiriyam. All these words of Saundarya Lagari, Adi Shankara says, are only your own word. Tava Janani Vacham Sutiriyam. It's all your words. So he's praising Ambal as the one who is the ruler of speech. It is all true in so many places. And it's also seen that those who worship Devi have fluency of speech. They are able to talk nicely and then convey the meanings. Just listen to some of the Devi Upasakas and you will find how true it is. I remember once I had a fantastic discourse in Tamil by Jagadguru Sringeri Sri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswami. I never knew he was so fluent in Tamil. He talked about Dharma and Karma, and it was a thrilling experience to hear him in Tamil, so beautifully done. So that is the kind of fluence of speech of Gurus. The next one is Jnana Gamya. Jnanam, is meditation. Gamya is to get obtained. So Ambal is one to be obtained by meditation. So there is a saying, you become what you think. You attain what you keep thinking constantly. So meditation is a very complex process that actually enables one to explore the human potential within by thinking. So on the importance of meditation, Kachi Mahaparivā said in one of the lectures, it is all not enough if the house is free from dirt. It is not enough if the clothes are clean. It is not enough if the body is clean. Our mind should be clean. It should become free from impurities. And for this, the only way is meditation on the lotus feet of Ambal. If we keep meditating on Ambal's feet, the impurities will go away, all wants will be fulfilled, and we become complete and full. What we have to start is meditation on the lotus feet of Ambal. Even if meditation is done a little, you will find it stays. It will become clear that there's nothing that can give greater shanti or peace than the lotus feet of Ambal. So he says all of you should meditate on her for your Atma Kshemam and for the welfare of the world. Okay, if Ambal can obtain you meditation, the next question arises, how to do this meditation? There are different ways. I can mention just 3 approaches, each progressively increasing in complexity. The first one is to visualize Ambal in a physical form, what is called Sthula Rupam. So when you think of your close friend, you can immediately imagine his face. Think of Ganesha, immediately you visualize an elephant's face with a bent trunk. Likewise, you may start to visualize Ambal in full colorful form, seated on a throne. As I said, with once you start thinking, you can visualize. You can see in the pictures, then you can visualize Ambal in a Sthula form. If you find it difficult, just visualize only the lotus feet of Ambal. It is much easier to visualize the lotus feet. I have mentioned before, Apatimkum Karaniyam Charana Yugala Ambayaha. Charana Yugala Ambayaha means surrender to the twin feet of Ambal. It used to be the favorite sentence of my guru. The second approach, slightly more difficult, is to meditate Ambal through her Sukshma Rupam. Sukshma means what? Hidden Rupam. Ambal is hidden in mantras and yantras, like a seed hiding a plant. You put a small seed, it becomes a plant, it becomes a tree. So inside the seed is a plant, but you can't say the seed is so small, the plant is big, but the seed is the one which contains the basic thing which makes a plant grow. A seed and a plant may look different, but it is a tiny seed that produces a plant or a huge tree. So, when you meditate Ambal through a Sukshma Rupam, chanting Lalita Sahasranamam, worshipping and praying Ambal on Sri Chakra with dedication, this is the second kind of approach, which is slightly more complex than the first one. The third approach is probably the most difficult. It is like reaching what they call the Sahasrara ecstasy. It is called Paradhyanam. Para is superlative, like in Parameshwaran. No? So it is the ultimate in meditation. The first 2 approaches I mentioned ultimately lead to the gradual enlightenment and a firm belief there is nothing above Ambal. As a famous proverb goes, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bhahuta Vadanti. There is only one truth. It's Brahman. The wise people call it by different names. So that is the third approach, but it takes a long time to reach this ultimate jnana. So there are 3 different approaches to meditation. One can choose whatever they feel like comfortable. The next word is aparichedya. Aparichedya means what? Aparichedya. It should be parichedya with the a added. Aparichedya. What is aparichedya? Ched means to cut. In Tamil, you say chedam. Chedam means broken or damaged. Parichedam means totally damaged, that is fragmented. Aparichedyam is just the opposite. It means something whole beyond measurement. You know, in Tamil, there is a word called aparimitam. When there is production, they say, sir, our land, aparividamana production. That means beyond measurement. So likewise, aparichedya means it is beyond measurement. Ambal is beyond any measurements. She is unlimited. She is incomprehensible and hence infinite. So that is the definition of Ambal, that she is pervading everywhere, unlimited. Next word is Jnanada. Jnanam, you know. Jnanada means one who gives the knowledge. Bestower of knowledge. Now, Jnana means knowledge of that which is at most superior to the form of Paramatma or Brahman. That is why Paramatma is explained as a brilliant, self-luminous light. Bhaskaraya quotes a Slogan 25 from Kena Upanishad. I will read out this Slogan, it's very nice. Satasmin nevakashe striyama jagama bahushobhamana momam haimavatim tam hova kimedat yaksham iti. I'll first explain the meaning of the Slogan and the context. The meaning is Indra saw in a spot a woman, Uma, very beautiful, of golden color, daughter of Haimavatim. Tamo vacha kimeta de yakshamiti. He asked her, what is this great yaksha? Now, that is the meaning of this Slogan, but I'll tell you the context that is most important for you to understand. For there is a story. In a battle between Devas and Asuras, the Brahman defeated the Asuras. But Indra and other Devas thought the victory was theirs. It was a false notion that they fought and won. But actually, it was Brahman who defeated the Asuras. So, Brahman appeared before them as a Yaksha. Yaksha is a kind of a great spirit. So, Devas wanted to find out who this Yaksha was. So, they first asked Agni, go and find out who this Yaksha is. So, Agni ran to the Yaksha. So, Yaksha asked him, who are you? He said, I am Agni, Jataveda. So, Jataveda. The Yaksha asked him, what can you do? He said, I can burn everything. Even this earth, whole thing I can burn. That's my power. He was so proud about himself. So the Yaksha placed a straw before him. He said, okay, burn this. Agni tried his level best, but he was not able to burn it. So he came back to Devas and said, I don't know who the spirit is. Then the Deva said, okay, Vayu, come on, you find out who the great spirit is. So Vayu went to the Yaksha and the Yaksha asked him, who are you? He said, I am Vayu. And what can you do? He said, I can blow away the entire universe. That is my power. The Yaksha placed again a straw before him and said, you blow it away. And he could do it. He tried his level best. He was not able to even move that an inch. So he also came back and he said, I don't know who the spirit is. Finally, Indra himself went there. By the time Yaksha vanished, instead of Yaksha, a beautiful woman came, Uma, with golden color. And that is the daughter of Yamavat mentioned in the Slogan. And he said to her, what is the great spirit I saw just now? She said, it is very Brahman indeed. Attain glory in the victory of Brahman. From her words only, he learned it was Brahman. So Ambal is Brahman, the ultimate superior power. So that is what is given here as Jnanada. Jnanam itself is Paramatma or Brahman, and she is the one who bestows that knowledge to devotees. Bhaskaraya quotes many other scriptures like Sutta Samhita, which says, such is the supreme Vidya Shankari, who destroys samsara, arises in men by the grace of Shakti alone. There is another interpretation, jnana, the knowledge which leads to bondage. Da is the remover, jnana da, the remover of bondage. And Shiva Sutra says jnana is bondage. So some commentators say jnana in the sutra will be taken as ajnana. So Ambal is the giver of knowledge and therefore remover of ignorance. So those who attain jnana are called jnani. They see Supreme Mother and everything. So that is jnanada. Coming to the next, the last concluding word here is jnana vigraha. Jnana, you know, is knowledge. Vigraha means an image. In temples, we have vigrahas. So Ambal is the personification of knowledge, whose body itself is knowledge. Bhaskaraya quotes Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana says, Jnana alone is Supreme Brahman. There is nothing beyond this knowledge. Some of you may know about the Shiva temple in Kalahasti, famous for its Vayu-lingam. It is one of the Panchabhuta Sthalams representing Vayu. Ambal at this temple is known as Shri Jnana Prasuna Ambika. Some people have name as Prasuna. Jnana Prasuna Ambika. She is the consort of Kalahasta Swami. And she is Jnana Vigraha also. It is the practical example of Jnana Vigraha. So that concludes the slogan 127. And we move on to the next slogan 128. Sarva Vedanta Samvedya Satyananda Swarupini Lopa Mudra Chita Leela Kripta Brahmanda Mandala Sarva Vedanta Samvedya Satyananda Swarupini Lopa Mudra Archita Leela Kripta Brahmanda Mandala. Sarva Vedanta Samvedya, to be known through all the Vedantas. Now, many of you know Vedas have got basically four main parts. Vedantam comes to the end. The first part is Samhita, which is the main text of the Vedas. Samhita itself means systemized and collected together. It has got all the mantras and slotras. And Veda Adhyayanam, the study of Vedas, is normally the Samhita part. The second is Brahmanas. Brahmanas lays down the rites, karma, to be explains the procedure for the same and how we should do the conduct of sacrifices. And it is a kind of a guide for the conduct of yajnas. The third one is Aranyakas. The Aranya means forest, you know. You must have heard Dandakaranya, Vedaranya, and so on. Now, Vedic rites like sacrifices, yajnas are generally performed by grihasthas living in a village. But after the mind becomes pure, after many years through rites, the grihastha goes to a forest to engage himself in meditation. It is to qualify for the stage of vanaprastha. Vanam itself is forest, vanaprastha, to become inwardly pure. So for the Aranyakas, more important than the performance sacrifices, getting to understand their inner meaning and significance. It explains various karmas and it focuses on internal meaning of these karmas. And finally comes Upanishad. If the Samhita is a tree, the Brahmana is a flower, and the Aranyaka the raw fruit, and the Upanishad or Vedantas are the mellow or the ripe fruit or phala. There is a profuse philosophy called Brahma Vidya. It explains about Jivatma, Paramatma, Jnana, Moksha, and so on. Quite complex to understand sometimes. They try to explain various aspects of Divine Mother, Ambal also. The essence of all the Upanishad is Divine Mother. And they come at the end of Vedas, therefore they are called Vedantam. And Ambal is the core knowledge in Vedantas. So hence, Ambal is called Sarva Vedanta Samvedya. Bhaskar Raya quotes Varaha Purana, which says this Devi is explained as the threefold energy and set forth as the end of logic. She is the energy of wisdom set forth in all the Vedantas. So, Sarva Vedanta Samvedya. She is one who has knowledge of all the Vedantas. The next one is Satyananda Swarupini. Satyam is truth, Anandam is bliss. She is in the form of truth and eternal happiness. Ambal itself is existence, true existence and bliss. So Bhaskar Raya had, some divide this name into two parts, Satya and Ananda Swarupini. Instead of Satyananda Swarupini, Satya and Ananda Swarupini. Satya, she is good to the wise. Ananda Swarupini is Ambal's form of happiness. In the Vedanta Sutra, there is a small verse which explains the qualities of Brahman itself. Ananda Deha Pradhanasya. Ananda Deha. Ananda Deha has bliss and other attributes. Pradhanasya, the subject, that is Brahman. So bliss and other qualities are attributed to Brahman everywhere. And Anandam is of two types. One is Laukika and the other one is Para. Laukika is represent all the pleasures that come from material attachment. They look like pleasure, but they always carry the shadow of some sorrow with them. Para represents the bliss of Atma. That is really Satya Ananda. It cannot be explained. It has to be experienced, and that experience is Divine Mother. So that is what Satya Ananda Swarupini means. The next one, Lopa Mudra Archita. That means worship by Lopa Mudra. Who is Lopa Mudra? Lopa Mudra is the wife of Agastya, the great sage who traveled from north to South India. Lopa Mudra was a worshipper of Devi. Agastya, he learned Lalita Sahasranamam Hayagriva. Hayagriva was reluctant to share Lalita Sahasranamam with Agastya initially, but Lalitambika appeared before Hayagriva and asked him to initiate sage Agastya into Lalita Trisadi. Lalita Trisadi itself says, Agastya's wife named Lopamudra worships me with so much of devotion. Ambal says. So she's actually recommending to Hayagriva, you share Lalita Sahasranam with him. That is why Hayagriva taught Lalita Sahasranamam to Agastya. The Tripura Siddhanta also says, as the supreme ruler, who Ambal was pleased with the wife of Agastya named Lopamudra, this Devi is involved under the name of Lopamudra Archita. That is why she comes in this Lopamudra Archita. She is worshipped by Lopamudra. Such is the greatness of Ambal's devotee Lopamudra, who was Agastya's wife. The next one, it's one word, Leela Kripta Brahmanda Mandala. Now, Ambal is described as Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani. Lalita name itself means playful. So, Brahmanda Mandala, I mentioned about Brahmandam, the big egg, the universe. And Mandala is a system. So, Ambal, Leela Kripta Brahmanda Mandala. Leela means play, sport. Ambal, she created this entire universe with the systems as if it's a kind of some play or some sport, so easily. Effortlessly, she created the universe. So, Devi Stava, It's the name of his work on the topic of Stotra. It is ascribed to Bhaskara Raya. He says in Devi Stava, even Shiva is powerless to create, preserve, or destroy. Brahma, Vishnu, and other gods. But, oh Mother, the regulation of this universe is just a sport for you, just a play for you. So that is the kind of power Amba wields in creating this entire universe as if it were just a kind of a play. So easy. Going further, let's go to verse number 129 now. Adrishya Ragita Vigyatri Vedyavarjita Yogini Yogada Yogya Yogananda Yugandara. Adrishya. Adrishya means to see. Adrishya means invisible, not seen, not perceived by our eyes or senses. In Tamil we say Adrishtam, right? Adrishtam means some fortune that comes unseen. Drishya is seen. Adrishya is unseen. So, Ambal is not an object of visual perception. It is difficult to perceive her by our own senses. The Supreme Person is such that she cannot be seen by our ordinary eyes. She is invisible. Next is Drishya Ragita. Drishya Ragita means transcending the visible. Again, it is an extension of the previous Nama. Ambal is beyond our visual perception. Her presence has to be only experience. She is free from Drishya, the worldly things, because Vigyatri, Nama 651. Vigyatri means one who perceives signs. Vijnana means science. So Ambal is one who perceives the sciences. She knows all the sciences. So it gives the Ambal's quality of a person who knows everything about science. Vedya Varjita. Again, transcending the Vedas. We mentioned about Vedantam. Here comes complete Vedas. Vedya Varjita is, here it is the root with to know. Veda means itself knowledge. So Ambal is beyond the knowable. So Vedya Varjita is something, she is above the Vedas. The next few names you find, they are all starting with the alphabet Y. They relate to yoga. Some people have the name as Yogambal. My grandmother's name was Yogambal. Yoga, I mentioned before, comes from the root yuj, to join. To join what? To join the Jivatma with the Paramatma. So that is the ultimate purpose of yoga. And out of yoga, there are many words. Like, for example, yogini. Yogini is the feminine Sanskrit word for yogi, which is masculine. So Ambal is personification of yoga. She stands united with Shiva, and so she is called Yogini. Yoga, Yogini. Yoga. Yogada is like mentioned Jnanada. Yogada is bestower of yoga, one who helps us to pursue the path of yoga. And Yogya. Yogya means very powerful, able. She who can be reached by the practice of yoga. The meaning of yoga is also given in Vishnu Purana, Bhaskaraya quotes, having controlled the senses of the mind, the idea of unity of the soul with the Supreme Self is yoga. I mentioned idea of unity of the soul is Jivatma and the Supreme Self is yoga. Supreme Self is Paramatma. So, if you control the sense of the mind, eventually the Jivatma joins the Paramatma. That is the ultimate purpose of yoga. So there are many other definitions of this. And in Bhagavad Gita, for example, there is a quote in chapter 14. Rajasthavibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajasattvam tamascheva tamasattvam rajastata. Rajas, tamas, sattvam. These are three gunas, as you know. Krishna says, sometimes sattva prevails over rajas and tamas. Sometimes rajas dominates the other two, sattvas and tamas. At other times, tamas overcomes sattva and rajas. All three gunas are present in all human beings. You know, they are like three wrestlers fighting with each other. Each keeps throwing the others down. One throws the other two down, then it turns on another person, and he overthrows the other two. So like this, the three gunas, they wrestle with each other, and sometimes each one wins over the other two. So the energy, which is the first one called guna, sattva, is meant by the name Yogada, which is the bestower of enjoyment. The energy which is possessed, second quality, rajas, is called jiva. It is the enjoyer and expressed with the word yogini. The third one, tamas, is expressed by the word yogya. So they should be distinguished. Three particular gunas, each one called by the name Yogada and Yogini and Yogya. Yoga means, you know, Ananda is happiness or bliss. She is in the form of bliss that is attained through yoga. Yoga plus Ananda. Now, you know, we sleep in the night. Don't we all love to sleep? In sleep, you don't get any problem. We rest and forget everything while we sleep. Now, that state of sleep, when we forget and be happy, belongs to Devi. Devi Mahatmyam says, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samsita Namastastai 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 Namo Namaha. To that goddess who abides in all beings in sleep. Namaskaram to you. So that Yogananda is one who gives you the bliss of yoga. The next last word here is Yugandhara. Yugam, as I mentioned, is double. I mentioned this before. Kim karaniyam smaraniyam charana yugalambayaha. What to do in a crisis? Remember the lotus twin feet of Devi. Yugalam here means two. So here, Yugam means double. Yugandhara. You know, people who have seen bullock carts, how they ride. There is a yoke that binds the two bulls in a bullock cart. That yoke is called Yugam. Ambal is described as the bearer of this yoke. It has to move forward. Now, Yuga has got other meanings also, like the four yugas. Yuga means the yoke of a chariot or a bullock cart. A plow. You also use a plow. It also refers to the four yugams, Krita, Treta, Dwapara and Kali. And it is also referring to a medicinal plant. So, Yugandhara has several meanings, but primarily it means double, one who is the bearer of the yoke, to move forward the bullock cart, to move forward life, to move forward in your spiritual enlightenment. So here is Yugandhara. Next is one single word. Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini, Sarvadhara Supratishtha Sadasat Rupadharini. The first line is just one word. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini. Shakti means energy. Now, Ambal represents a unique combination of three types of energies. What are those three types? Ichha is desire, Jnana is wisdom, and Kriya is action. So they correspond to three qualities. Again, as usual, Bhaskaraya quotes several scriptures. He says, Samketa Paddhati, desire is our head, wisdom is our trunk, action our feet. So our body consists of three energies. There is also a scripture called Vamakeshwara Tantra. It says Tripura is threefold, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Isha. And Ambal is the energy of desire, wisdom, and action. Now, these energies, the preceding one is the cause of the succeeding. Like, for example, desire leads to wisdom, and wisdom in turn leads to action. So, all the three energies are required. So, the meaning of this is Ambal, he is the possessor of all three Shaktis. The energies known as Parashakti. That's why it is called Parashakti, supreme energy. One is wisdom, desire, and then finally action. So in the other way, desire is the first formation, Shakti, Jnana Shakti is the wisdom, and Kriya Shakti is the action. So she is the possessor of all three Shaktis. Sarva Adara. Sarva Adara. It's just split into two words, Sarva and Adara. Sarva means the whole world. Adara means support. She is a supporter of all. Markandeya Tantra. In reality, Devi herself, who is perceived in all things, permanent or temporary, gross or subtle, embodied or disembodied, one or many, in earth or in the heaven, or anywhere else, she supports the entire universe with the help of those three Shaktis we mentioned. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya. If you look at anything, they actually arise from these three. And she is supporting the entire universe, Sarva Adara, with the help of these three energies. Supradishta is the next word. Supradishta. Pradishta means establish. Ambal is very firmly established. She is the foundation of all existence. The foundation has to be strong. And she is the foundation of all existence. And lastly, Sadasat Rupadharani. Sat and Asat. Sat is being, and Asat is the opposite, non-being. Sat is Brahman. Asat is different from Sat. Though the universe is very difficult to define as Sat or Asat, she is different from both Sat and Asat. Here, word Asat represents the universe. From the Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhaskaraya quotes, in the beginning, this was all Asat. How did Sat come to exist from Asat? These places, Asat means universe. And Sat means existence. Asat means non-existence. Existence is what is permanent and unchangeable. So here, Sadasat Rupadharini means she is the foundation of both Sat and Asat, both being and non-being. Little philosophical and not so easy to understand. Whatever appears either as existent or non-existent is all caused by the Maya of Mahadeva, says the Suta Samhita, according to Bhaskaraya. Going further, let's go to verse 131. Ashtamurti Rajajaitri Lokayatra Vidayini Eka Keni Marupa Nirdvaita Dvaita Varjita. Ashtamurti. Ashta means 8. Murti is form. Ashtamurti is Devi having 8 forms. She's also a combination of 8 virtues. And Bhaskaraya provides different kinds of interpretations. I'm going to quote some of his. He quotes Matsya Purana, which says, the 8 forms are wealth, intelligence, earth, nourishment, Gauri, contentment, radiance, stability. These are the 8 forms of Amba. This is in Matsya Purana. Then he says 8 forms are also known by mantras. The Yoga Shastra says the self is of 8 kinds, according to the difference in qualities. 1 Jivatman, 2 Antaratman, 3 Paramatman, 4 Nirmalatman, 5 Suddhatman, 6 Jnanatman, 7 Mahatman, and 8 Bhutatman. There are 8 different kinds of Atman. And there are 8 kinds of self, you can say. And Ambal is the form of 8 different forms in different qualities. And there is also another definition that she is the 5 elements plus the sun, moon, and Jiva. They are 8 bodies totally. The 5 elements, sun, moon, and heaven, are the 8 bodies, says the Shakti Rahasya. Vishnu Purana also quotes the same thing. The sun, water, earth, fire, air, ether, the Brahmana, and the moon, they are all 8 bodies. Similarly, if you see the wives of these 8, they also become 8. Umiya, Sukesi, Apara, Shiva, Swaha, Diti, Diksha, and Rohini. Their sons also, if you look at their sons, they are planets, some of them. Saturn, Venus, Rohitinga, Manojava, Skanda, Swarga, Santana, and Buddha. So, they gain 8 forms. Linga Purana, so 8 Prakritis form the body of Devi. 8 kinds of products, Vikritis, are all manifestations of our body in order to mold this body. So, Prakriti and Vikriti, Linga Purana says, they are also 8. According to Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 7, verse 4, earth, fire, water, air, ether, mind, intellect, and egoism. Yes, 8-fold is a Prakriti. 8 kulas, 8 kinds of women. The Samayachara Smriti, which says Ganika, Shaundika, Kaivarti, Rajaki, Takrakiri, Karmari, Matangi, Pumsakari. So 8 different kinds of women. These are all different forms of Amba. So the 8 Ashta Murti is representing different 8 types of things. Aja Jaitri, part of this Ashtamurti Raja Jaitri. Aja means ignorance. Aja means also goat, Goat is known to be dull. Some people even scold their son Ajam. Ajam also means unborn. Jaitri means victory. So Aja Jaitri means the conqueror of the unborn. What is unborn here? Unborn is ignorance, avidya. So as I said, goat, Ajam, is also ignorant. The conqueror of the unborn or ignorance. So Bhaskaraya quotes Shvetasvatara, Upanishad, chapter 4. Ajam ekam lokhita sukla krishnang bhaktihi prajaha shajamanam sarupaha. Ajam ekam lohita sukla krishnam. The one unborn Prakriti which is red, white, and black color, which gives birth to many creatures like itself. Bakvihi prajaha prajamanam charupaha. So, unborn here refers to ignorance. The meaning is, she is the wisdom which destroys all ignorance. So, ignorance is destroyed by Ambal's wisdom. Lokayatra Vidayini. Lokayatra means journey across the worlds, journey of the worlds. Vidayini, one who has achieved. So Ambal is one who is directing the course of the world. Lokas mean the 14 worlds. Yatra is direction and protection. So she is directing the course of these worlds, Loka Yatra. Ekakini. Eka means one. Ekakini is Ambal is one. She is without second. There is nobody else. Chandogya Upanishad says, Ekam eva advitiyam, which means one without a second. Devi Puranam also says, alone she contributes the world, alone she established some, alone she creates the universe, hence she is called Ekakini. Only one, nobody else. Bhuma Rupa. Bhuma means the Brahman. Bhaskaraya says Ambal is the aggregate of all existing things. The previous name says she is one. But this one says the aggregate of many things. How can I explain this? Devi Purana explains. Though she is one by limitation, she is seen everywhere as Bhuma. How? As the crystal, you find a sun's ray coming, it transmits into different colors with Vidya. One single one split into different colors. So the qualities of Devi is also described as Bhuma. Just as one cloud becomes many retaining the same nature and colors, so Uma becomes many through the qualities. Just as rain from sky tastes differently according to the soil. The wind, which is one, takes on different kinds of odors. In one room, you have one kind of odor, in another room, you have another. When you go out, the plant gives you an odor. The freshly cut grass gives you another odor. So, there is one wind, but you can take different kinds of fragrances or odors. So is Uma through the qualities. So here it is, Bhuma Rupa is, he is the aggregate of all existing things. Nirdvaita, without quality. Dvaita means two. Nirdvaita or even Advaita, as propagated by Adi Shankaracharya, the belief is the soul Jivatma is no different from the Paramatma. So Devi is the Brahman without duality. It's just one. Dvaita Varjita. This name Dvaita Varjita is an extension to the earlier one, which means transcending duality. Ambal is devoid of duality. She is Nirdvaita, Dvaita Varjita. Going further, the next verse, Annadava Sudha Vriddha Brahmatma Ikkasvarupini Bragati Brahmani Brahmi Brahma Bharipriya. Annada, Annam means food. And put da, Annada, giver of food. Every living being in this world needs food. Now this name is, it is extolling the motherly nature of Ambal, who supplies the food to all the living beings as Annapurni. She gives rise to crops, fruits, nuts, vegetables, everything. I mentioned earlier that each Rama in Lalitha Sahasranamam is a mantra. According to Rama, the powers are different. By repeating the name, you get corresponding results. Whatever power belongs to a name, in that sphere, it is effective. So those who desire food should repeat the name Annada. Those who want wealth should repeat the next one, Vasudha. Vasudha is giver of wealth. The Brihadaranya Upanishad, quoted by Bhaskara, it says, this indeed is a great birthless self, the giver of food and giver of wealth. He who knows this gets food and wealth. Annada and Vasudha, you repeat it, you get both food and wealth. Vriddha. Vriddha means old, ancient. No doubt, Ambal is the oldest, the most ancient goddess, and one who nourishes and gives an occupation. So Vriddha also means she nourishes the world. So the next line, it starts with all B. All the words become alphabet B. Like Brigati, Brahmani, Brahmi, Brahmananda, Bali Priya, Brahmatmaika Swarupini. Brahman plus Atman plus Aikya plus Swa plus Rupini. This phrase is split into 5 different words. Ambal represents union of Brahman and Atman. Brahma is Shiva here, Atman is Jiva. Swa, the Hamsa mantra, which means uniting the soul with Shiva. Rupa is her form. From the greatest to smallest, the whole universe, animate and inanimate, lives and dies in the Supreme Lord. So Jiva also manifests through earthly existence. Aham Brahmasmi is term very well known. It is typically translated, I am Brahman. So Brahmatmika Swarupini, she is the Swarupam of Brahman, Atman, Aikyam. It is Advaita. Brigati. Brigati is a vastness. Briga itself is like Brahmandam. Bri is the root, which is great. Brigati is also representing one of the 26 varieties of Chandas, Sanskrit meters. Brigati is also a certain meter of 36 syllables. Gayatri, Chandasamata, we say that Chandas means the Vedas. So Gayatri is the mother of all Vedic mantras. And Kurma Purana says, you are the Gayatri among all the meters. Because Devi is both the meters. In fact, Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse in chapter 10, 35 verse. Bhargat Sama Tata Samnam Gayatri Chandasamaham Masanam Margasishoham Ritunam Kusumakaraha. I am Bhargat Sama among the Samans, among the Samaveda. Amongst the poetic meters, Chandas, I am Gayatri. Among months, I am Margasirsham. Among season, I am spring, which is bringing in the flowers. So Ambal is bigger than the universe and greatest among all. So Brihati. Next is Brahmani. It has got 10 different meanings. I'm not telling all that. Brahmani refers to a Brahmin's wife. It's also referring to a medicinal plant, also to wisdom. So Brahmani also means wife of Shiva. Bhaskaraya quotes Chandogya Upanishad. Sa atma prajapatehe aham bhavami brahmananam yaso. Sa atma prajapati. That self is a prajapati. Aham bhavami brahmananam yaso. May I attend the fame of a Brahmin. You are Brahmana among the Devas. I wish to be the Brahmana among men. So Brahmani is referring to a Brahmin's wife, which is actually Shiva's wife here. The divine Shambhu, the consort of Devi, is Brahmana. And Linga Puranas confirm this. It is the deity of the Brahmanas, some Shiva. A Brahmana should specially take refuge in Rudra, the Lord. So Brahmani may be taken as the energy of Brahman. Brahmi is the next word. This is also many meanings. Brahmi, the alphabet, is the ancestor of most of the modern Indian alphabets. It also refers to a medicinal plant. Brahmi also means the Shakti of Brahma. Brahmi. One of the names of Saraswati is Brahmi, the goddess of speech. So Brahmi also refers to the female counterpart of Brahman or speech. Ambal is goddess of speech. I mentioned Vagishwari. So Brahmi has got different meanings, and it is, you can take it to the Shakti of Brahma. Brahmananda, that is bliss of Brahman. It is that state of perfect and infinite bliss. It comes with the realization of oneself. Now, Devi is the possessor and dispenser of the bliss of Brahman. Bali Priya. Now, Bali has got two meanings. You know, when we say Balishthahar, Balavan, it means most powerful or strong, right? Nalla Balam. So here, Ambal delights in such people of great things. It means mighty warriors who can overcome both internal and external enemies. And Ambal is very fond of them. And the second meaning to Bali is those accessory worship. You know, you offer Bali as Bhuta Yajna. In temples, you find the Bali Pitam, right? Bali Pitam is one where it is placed near the Dvajastambham. The word Bali here means sacrifice. It doesn't mean physical sacrifices, but it means sacrificing some of our bad qualities, 6 of them, like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. All these bad qualities should be sacrificed. It is also the seat of offering. You know, the priests, after the prasadam naivedyam to the main deity, they offer the prasadam to the Avarana Devatas at the Bali Pitam. So this is normally done after they are naivedyam to the main deities. So Ambal is also fond of such offerings on the Bali Pitam. That's the meaning of Bali Priya. Next one, we go to verse number 133. Bhasha Rupa Birgatsena Bhava Bhava Vivarjita Sukaradhya Subhagari Shobhana Sulabha Gatihi. Bhasha Rupa, form of languages. Bhasha is language. She is the Sabda Brahman. She is the cause of learning and understanding. Brigat Sena. Sena is army. Brigat is mighty. She administers the universe with mighty army. Bhava, Bhava, Vivarjita, Bhava. Bhava, Abhava. It combines both. Bhava is worldly existence. Abhava is opposite word, non-existence. Vedantic terms. So Ambal is devoid of existence, non-existence. Bhava also refers to our mind, our mind. You know, when singers sing, bhavam is most important. It comes from the emotional state of mind. When they sing with devotion, it becomes a very beautiful music to hear. Now, this is actually a repetition of earlier one also we mentioned about existence, non-existence. So Ambal is non-existence and also existence. How can it be? Now, Vyasa Acharya, he answers his objection. He says in Sudha Samhita, destruction of artificial things mean their substratum alone remains. But destruction is the non-existence of the existent. It is also the existence of the non-existent. The substratum is different from these two, existent, non-existent. Substratum is not destroyed. It is always real. So he says Ambal can be existing and also non-existing. Sukha Aradhya, Sukha plus Aradhya. It is easily worshipped. Ambal can be easily worshipped without any difficulty. You don't have to really do fasting, elaborate rituals and all that. And she can be easily worshipped. Subhakari. Subham is doing good. Subhakari, Devi does good. Even to someone who imperfectly worships her, she gives. That is why you say, after all, she is Supreme Mother, Sri Mata, isn't it? How can a mother do harm to her children? So she always does good. Subhakari. Shobhana Sulabhagadi. Shobhana is salvation. Sulabhagati means easy way. Sambal offers an easy mode of worship to attain her. Again, extension of Subhakari. Now let's go to Namas in verse 134. It all starts with Raja, Rajeshwari. You know, this word, Rajeshwari, Rajyadayini, Rajyavallabha, all that. So let me read that. Rajeshwari, Rajyadayini, Rajyavallabha, Rajat-kripa, Rajapita, Nivechita Nijasrita. Rajeshwari, Raja itself is the main king. Rajeshwari is king of kings, ruler of the king of kings. No, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Indra, they are all Rajas, kings. So Devi is the ruler of such kings. Rajeshwari. You have 4 temples for Rajeshwari, right? Rajyadayini, Dayini means one who gives. She gives dominions. What dominion? They include territories like Vaikuntha, Kailasa, all these are also dominions. She gives us Rajyams. Rajya Vallabha. She is the ruler of Sri Chakra, the abode of all gods. So she delights in dominion. Rajya Vallabha. Rajat Kripa. Radiating compassion. Rajapita Niveshna Nijasrita. Now all her dependents are all in thrones. Indra and other Deva, they are all enthroned because she has come from Rajadhaini. The next verse is, Rajya Lakshmihi Koshanata Chaturanga Baleshwari Samrajyadayini Satyasanda Sagarame Kala. Rajya Lakshmihi, royal wealth, the glory of sovereignty. Because she is holding the wealth of the entire universe. So she is Rajya Lakshmi. Koshanata. Kosha has got 2 meanings. You know, our human body is said to be having 5 kosas. 5. Vedanta says they are Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Annamaya. They are all like onion, they are layers. Though the Atman inside ourself is covered by these layers. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Annamaya. Shri is in the form of Atman, which is covered by these 5 kosas. Kosas means sheaths. That is one meaning of Koshanata. And Kosha also means, the wealth of a government. The royal treasury. So she is in total control of this wealth. And therefore she is known as Koshanata. Chaturanga Baleshwari. Now Chaturangam, is chess. Chaturangam is 4 armies. Chatur means 4. Chaturangam. The army has primarily 4 divisions, Ratha, Gacha, Turaga, Patati, as they call it. Ratham, chariot. Gajam means elephant. Turaka means cavalry. Patati means those who walk, soldiers. The way players in chess is called Chaturangam, and it originated in India only. So Ambal is Chaturanga Baleshwari. She rules the army, external as well as internal. Antakarana. He rules the external army and also the internal rules of our mind, intellect, conscience, and ego. These are again 4 Chaturangam. Samraja Dayini. See the bestower of Samraja. What is Samraja? Rajyam itself is a kingdom. Samraja means big one. What is the big one? One who has performed a Rajasuya Yagam. He is called Samrat. And the kingdom that he wants is called Samrajyam. So she is the bestower of Samrajya, Samrajya Dayini. Satyasandha is one who is devoted to truth. Ambal is devoted to truth. It is stressing the importance of truth. Sagara Mekala. She's, Mekala is a girdle. She's girdled by ocean. Sagara means ocean. She's in the form of earth. The entire water bodies of the planet forms like a girdle. So it's called Sagara Mekala. Next verse. Dikshita Daita Samani Sabba Lokava Sankari Sarvartha Datri Savitri Sachidananda Rupini. Dikshita, we call Dikshita, right? What is meant by Dikshita? One who has received Diksha. Diksha is the initiation of a disciple by a guru to knowledge. So Ambal gives Diksha to her disciples. D is wisdom. She is to give. Giving wisdom is called Diksha. So one who received Diksha is called Dikshita. So Ambal here is Dikshita, who is the guru, who is initiated, and she is the one who gives us knowledge. Daitya Samani, destroyer of Daityas. Who are Daityas? There are Asuras. Kashyapa was a great Rishi, one of the Sapta Rishis. He was the father of Devas and Asuras, Nagas. He married Aditi, who gave birth to Agni. Aditi was the daughter of Yaksha, the Dakshan. She gave birth to Agni, the Adityas, Devas. And most importantly, Vamana Avataram. With his other wife, Diti, Kashyapa got Daityas, were all Asuras. Same Rishi, but he gave birth to Devas and Asuras. So Daityas were Asuras, and Daitya Samani is Ambal, destroyer of Daityas. Devi Mahatmyam is full of Daitya Samani only. Sarvalokam Vasankari. Sarvalokam Vasankari. She is a subjugator of all the words. How many words? 14 lokas. Bor, Bhuvas, Swa, Mahas, Janas, Tapas. We say in Sandhyavandanam, right? 7 of them. Above. And Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, 7 below. In Avanya Vittam, we say this. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala. 14 words, 14 lokas, and she is one who subjugates all the 14 worlds. Sarva Loka Vasantari. Sarva Artha Datri. Sarva Artha Datri. Artha means what? Desire. Dharmartha Kama Moksham, we say, right? So she gives all these desires, bestowing all objects of desire. Artha primarily refers to wealth and materialistic desires. But wealth is not the most important thing. Adi Shankara says in Bhaja Govindam, Arthamanartam Avaya Nityam Nasti Tata Sugalesha Satyam Putrada Bidana Bhajam Vitihi Sarva Traisha Vihitaritihi Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudamate Arthavanartham Bhave Nityam. So wealth could be a source of misfortune also. For the rich, there is a fear even from one's own son. You can see in family-owned companies, the son actually is a danger to the father. He wants to take away the wealth. This is established everywhere. Devi Purana says in all the works, she gives dharma, righteousness, and other desires. And she is called Sarvartha Sadhini, which includes moksha also. Sarvartha Datri. Savitri. Savitri is Savita, his son. Savitri It's called Savita because he creates beings. As she gives light to the sun, because she creates the universe through light, she is called Savitri. So Savitri, the root Shra, means flowing. Arises brightness, tejas. Therefore, she is called Savitri because she makes the brightness flow. Satchidananda Rupini, Satchit Anandam. Satchit Anandam. Sat is existence, Chit means consciousness, and Anandam means bliss. She gives all the three. Satchidananda Rupini, she is the form of existence, consciousness, and bliss. She is Satchidanandam. She is Satchidananda Rupini, the form of Satchidananda. So here ends the 8th kala called Bogada. Bhaskar Raya, he has different chapters, and this is the 8th chapter called Bogada, which ends at the 700 slokas in Saubhagya Bhaskara. So with this slokam, we end today's session 13. We have completed 136 verses and 700 namas. And today we covered 10 verses and 65 namas. So we will conclude this session right now with our prayers as usual. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayane Namostute Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Parashakti Om Shakti Om Shakti Om Pusti Pridam Vimalantam Nyayena Margena Magim Magimcha Ho Brahmne Brasvam Vasatyam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिके शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिके के काल भैरव के काली दुर्गै के वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरणतिर्के मल्लिकार्जुनर्के செல்வ ஜனார்தனர்க்கே அம்பா பவானி கம்பத கணபதி சண்டி சாமுண்டிக்கே ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண பகவானுக்கே ஸ்ரீ சக்கரவாசினிக்கே சீதாராம லக்ஷ்மண சகித மாருதி சரணத்திற்கே வித்யாரண்யருக்கே विद्याशंकरर्के वागीश्वरिके वज्रदेग गरुड आंजनेयर्के श्रीवल्ली देवसेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर्के तुंगभद्रैके श्रृंगनिवासिनिके श्रृंगेரிபுரியில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिक शंकराचार्यर के शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिகை के श्रृंगेரிபுரியில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you again. Until we meet next month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Om Sri Matre Namaha.